Okay. Good morning. My name is Pilar Jericho. Thank you so much for Georgetown University Med community for inviting me today to give this talk. I would like to start my short talk by sharing the tale that inspired me when I was younger and I started up my first company 20 years ago. Imagine this picture. Long time ago, in a Cherokee tribe, in an Indian American tribe, there was a wise old man with the kids around him. He tells them this beautiful yet powerful story. Inside us, always there are two wolves that are fighting all the time. One of the wolves represents fear, don't do it, stay always at the same place. And the other wolf represents trust, self-confidence, purpose, represents what we believe in, what we love. And both wolves are fighting. And this old man asked, which one will win? And the kids said, we don't know which one. And this man said, the one that you decide to feed. So it's a beautiful story that represents what's happening inside us. Everyone has two kinds of emotions, fear or trust, that affect every decision that we make in our life. We can feed trust or we can feed fear. In my experience working with leaders in more than 25 countries, I discovered something beautiful. The good leaders are who create the space where people want to be their best that they can be. And that is only possible if leaders lead by trust, not by fear. And the exercise of leadership always starts within oneself. I also notice, as in society, as in organization, that sometimes female leadership is really hard. If we have children or we have family to take care, sometimes it's difficult to find the right time and the right energy to achieve our professional dreams. Also, I notice the social pressure that we live is that women think that we need to be nice, pretty, or even perfect to have the recognition. And also in my research about fear and leadership, I discovered that the most common fear in women is to be rejected. That means that we think that we need to be perfect to deserve recognition or even respect. But you know what? My dear friends? Life goes very, very fast. When we are 90 years old, we will regret all the things that today we don't dare to do for fear. So it's time to be leaders of our life, from our strength, from our passion, from our vulnerability. It's time to be the leaders of our life. Although sometimes, as women, I like this metaphor, as women, it's like sometimes I like the metaphor that women sometimes we have to dance with high heels. It's the difference when the man dances. So it's time to be leaders, I said, as our life, although we have to dance with high heels. It's time to jump into our life, to embrace who we are, and to explore the opportunities out there. Because remember, let me insist in one idea. The power of leadership always starts in one question, a simple question. What wolf do you decide to feed? What emotion, fear or trust, do you decide to feed today? Thank you so much for your attention.
I am very pleased to open up Stories of Change. This is hopefully an inspiring and energizing section for you all. We continue to talk about promoting entrepreneurial ecosystems, leadership education programs, but I think this section in particular, we want to open it up to new voices. My name is Cristina Ruiz. On behalf of Georgetown University Latin America Leadership Program, it is a pleasure to introduce 3 talented new voices from our Latin American region. They are all program alumni of our Global Competitiveness Leadership Program. And they are also represented, this program is also represented by other speakers like Alison Silva today, Laura Paunesa tomorrow, and all the alumni that are present here today. So thank you, welcome. So I am sure that the stories and the social impact projects that you will hear today, they'll give you hope, because they are really working on creating a more sustainable, competitive, and inclusive Latin America. But their stories also attest to the spirit of our programs, executive education programs that we have been developing here at LALP for the past 17 years, thanks to members of the Latin American board and other corporate sponsors and friends. And thanks to them, and with that spirit in mind, we have been able to welcome, educate, connect, and inspire over 800 emerging leaders spanning the Ibero-American region. But let me introduce you now the storytellers this morning. So next to me is Andrea Burt. Andrea is a serious social entrepreneur. She's a 2012 GCL alumni and the latest award recipient of our GCL Impact Award. She is the current director of B Corps and Communications at Sistema B Internacional. And she's going to tell her story, but I think it's a story of change, a lot of impact, and one that should resonate with all of us that believe that no matter where you are or what role you have, we can all lead or support positive transformation. Featured along with Andrea, we have 2 outstanding representatives of our GCL 2023 cohort. And they're actually graduating later this afternoon together with the rest of their colleagues here in the audience. So congratulations to them all. So we have Monica Ramos. She's coming from Peru, and she's going to be presenting her project Musa. And we have Ronen Kohan. He's coming from Paraguay, and he's going to be presenting From Waste to Food. It's a long title, the BSF Revolution. So for the past 10 weeks, Monica, Ronen, and the rest of their cohort members have been rethinking, redeveloping, redesigning their projects. And today you'll have an opportunity to learn about some of these initiatives, but most importantly about the gaps that they were able to identify, the solutions, the bold and innovative solutions that they're proposing. But I think for me, the most important is to understand what drives them and what the future has for us in store with their leadership. But before I give the floor to them, we're actually going to break, definitely, after the presentations, and we're going to head directly to the break. So my call of action to you guys is, if these projects spark your interest, please connect with them, exchange ideas, and explore ways to collaborate or support them. So with all of you, I leave you now with Andrea, Monica, and Ronen. Thank you.
So Paraguay has 10 Guinness World Records. The longest hot dog, the largest sausage, the biggest outdoor barbecue, and the world's largest harp ensemble. Paraguay is the heart of South America. Amazing people, beautiful landscapes. But it's a land full of paradoxes. For example, we have the biggest dam in the world, but the power goes off every other day. The royalties of this dam fund education, but our children study under trees. We have beautiful modern buildings built on streets that flood every time it rains. So sometimes we feel hopelessness. We have a general feeling that we'll never be able to get out of the hole. But there are 2 things that bring us hope. On the one hand, soccer, obviously, and on the other hand, music. So let's go back a decade ago. It was 2013, and our neighboring Brazil was getting ready to host the World Cup. And we didn't qualify. So imagine that soccer is our thing, and we weren't going to go next door. So we at Sonidos de la Tierra decided to take the momentum and the opportunity to use the state that we're in to generate hope in society. So Sonidos de la Tierra had over a decade of work in the rural communities of Paraguay, developing social, economic, touristic, and cultural development of Paraguay. So we worked as a conservatory on wheels, where our professors would go to the weekends every week, to the communities and teach harp, guitar, choir, strings, band. And at the same time, we were transforming the reality of Paraguay. What we were doing was something different. You would go to the countryside and see children with their instruments walking on dirt roads, harps on horses, violins on bikes. Sometimes even the instruments of these kids were valued more than their houses. So our work was disruptive, is disruptive. And we also worked with the parents. So as the more the kids played and the better they played, the more the parents worked and they fundraised and they hired new professors and they bought more musical instruments and they organized concerts. And once a year we would meet in a different city. This was in Cacupe, an hour away from Asunción, and we would get together to make music. We also had thematic orchestras like the Orchestra of Recycled Instruments of Cateura, which you might know. We also have the H2O Orchestra of Recycled Instruments related to water. And we would travel the world. We were invited by will.i.am to play at the red carpet of the American Music Awards in 2012. And we also played with Jack Johnson when he went to Asunción. We played in France, in Switzerland, in Colombia, all over the world. But we had one great challenge. The Paraguayan harp was losing popularity amongst the youth. And the Paraguayan harp is the musical symbol of our country. It's our culture. So we did a little research, and we realized that Edinburgh had broken the Guinness World Record in 2006 with 201 harps playing at the same time. And we could do better. So we set ourselves to double that. And as our professors toured around the country auditioning, we would fundraise, apply for the Guinness World Record, and organized one of the greatest events of the year.
Amigas, amigos, bajo la dirección del maestro Luis Arán, el conjunto de arpas más grande del mundo.
Aguardando a los artistas paraguayos que van a demostrar lo que ellos saben hacer.
Muy lindo material, es el evento musical sin lugar a dudas del año.
El número total es de 420 personas.
Paraguay batió récord Guinness con 420 arpas sonando al unísono.
Es fabuloso tocar 400 arpas juntos. Increíble el incentivo que se siente.
Triplicar el récord alcanzado en Escocia.
Paraguay, récord Guinness de arpa 2013.
So the following year, Guinness World Records calls us to let us know that we won the record-breaking brand award, which we didn't even know existed. But I was having a blast, and Paraguay was changing in all the ways through Sonidos de la Tierra. But I always knew there was a problem with funding. And that's why, after my master's degree in 2018, I decided to join the B Corporation movement. It's a movement of people who are changing the world through business. We transform the global economy to benefit all people, communities, and the planet. And we use the B Corp certification as a way to demonstrate that companies have passed through the path of measuring their impact and improving and committing to be a better company. Today, there's over 6,000 B Corps in the world, 2,100 in the US and Canada, and over 1,000 in Latin America. They're multinational corporations, small family-owned businesses, micro-enterprises, and really just companies that want to change the world and are doing it every single day. But the issue was taking this movement to Paraguay. And starting a movement in a country is a really hard task. So back in 2018, there were only 6 micro-enterprises certified as a B Corporation. And every time I would visit new companies, they would ask me, why isn't Nutrihuevos a B Corp? Why is a woman trying to tell me how to manage my business? This will never work in Paraguay. And guess what? January 2019 came along, and Nutrihuevos certified as a B Corporation. And after that, this is a B Corp community in Paraguay. Both national and international companies, over 50 national and international companies, working together to be a force for good. And being part of the B Corporation movement was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And perhaps we're not going to break another Guinness World Record, but we're sure changing the world. Thank you.
Just wait for it. Hi, I'm Monica. I'm founder of Musa, where we were founded, and our purpose is to reclaim education rights throughout life. And actually, we are recently certified a B Corp. Especially for those that need upskilling and reskilling to keep creating value for themselves, their families, and their communities, but have faced some issues like they're always on the move or geographically dispersed, have limited access to the internet because of the data plan or where they are located in our amazing region, or doesn't have access to a computer. So traditional e-learning solutions fail to reach them. But what if people, students, you and I could learn as easy as chatting on WhatsApp? Why WhatsApp? Because it's huge penetration in the region, and the best part, it's free on most of our countries in their basic plan. So we created Musa, a micro-learning solution that uses WhatsApp to provide a conversational learning experience to people that face the problems that I mentioned before. It is convenient because we go where students are in terms of technology and learning readiness. We also have metrics to keep track of the students. And we have also developed a high engagement methodology that mixes micro-learning with behavioral science, metacognition methodology, all in a conversational experience. This has allowed us to reach that 9 out of 10 people that does a Musa course finish it with an average rating of 4.5. How does the user experience it? They access WhatsApp, they can either scan a QR code, text the number, or we can send a direct message to their phone. They register and they start learning. So we currently have a B2B business model where we partner with different organizations within the region, and we have enabled in the last 1 year and a half of operation to reach 50,000 people or users trained with different partners all around. And this is a project I brought to GCL. How can we support the ones that are not direct beneficiaries of an institution, like Jamie? She's a small business owner that I met back in 2020 in Peru that has some issues, like their business is a family business. She had mostly high school. And why targeting the Jamies on small and medium enterprises in the region? Because they account for 90% of all the businesses. They are responsible for 50% of the job creation and 30% of our GDP creation. So our value proposition to Jamies and other small, medium-sized owners is microcourses focused on enhancing their businesses and themselves, well-being, mental health. We partner with accredited organizations to provide credentials and that are economically accessible. So the way we are going to reach the Jamies and this business is through partners, because we know we cannot do it alone. So we look into partnering with organizations that have pre-existing relationships with these organizations, like consumer good companies, Unilever, Procter & Gamble, and this kind of companies that will benefit that these businesses keep growing their business so they purchase more. And microfinance institutions that by giving us access and collecting the fees from these businesses, we'll be able to provide more financial services and then also benefit economically for their growth. So this has been our traction since 2021, mostly based in
in the B2B business model. And by 2024, we expect that part of our revenue will come from this new business model. So we are a diverse team with a background in education, entrepreneurship, and technology, all passionate about making education accessible. So my call, if anyone in the room know anyone in this kind of companies that would like to run a pilot with us this year, please let me know. Thank you. And also, if you want to live the Moose experience, you can scan that QR code and you will have access to a microcourse called 7 Days of Happiness. Sorry, it's just in Spanish, but you can try it now or whenever you want. Thank you.
Okay, so I am Ronen from Paraguay as well, and you might be wondering what is this big number in the screen. 931 billion of kilos of food waste that we all generate per year. So this is the same weight as 9,000 US Capitol buildings, and to put it in perspective, we can feed the entire population of Latin America for almost 4 years. However, we still have undernourishment and people dying from hunger. So we clearly do not know how to feed the population efficiently now. I want to ask you, how will we feed the growing population in the future? To answer that, let me welcome you all to the Black Soldier Fly Revolution. So besides the food waste issue, we have another problem with our traditional methods of producing food, specifically protein. We use a lot of water, generate emission, or increase deforestation. So is there a way that we can use food waste as a resource and at the same time create another source of protein specifically without using water or without increasing deforestation? There is a way. How? Well, it might not be Superman, but it's a super insect. This is the black soldier fly. So how this works? First, you have to get the egg from the fly in those little sticks that you can see there in the screen. And this super insect has two main superpowers. The first one is the conversion ratio of what they eat into a protein in their body. And the second one, and really important one, is the speed of their eating. They devour the fish that you are seeing in the screen in less than 24 hours. Once you have the larvae fat enough, and after it converts into a fly, obviously, you have to dry them. And once you dry them, you put it into another industrial processes until you get the protein powder and the other byproducts. So we are offering two revenue streams. The first one is a waste management system to offer to retail supermarkets in Paraguay, even the national market. This is how we store garbage back in Paraguay. But in a more longer term, we want to offer three main products. The first one is the protein powder. Now the black soldier fly protein powder, it's not available for human consumption, but there's ongoing research supporting human consumption. Now it's used as an animal feed supplement. However, we have another insect that it's already available for human consumption, like the cricket powder. Also, we want to have frass, that it's insect manure, and oil for cosmetics. Why go to Paraguay besides soccer, music, and big sausages? Paraguay has one of the most competitive prices for electricity in the region, arguably in the world. And not only looking at the economic bottom line, also since it's from a renewable source, the project is going to be completely environmentally friendly. So far, so good. Another question you might have is, who is this guy and what he knows about anything about food, right? So I have been working in the food industry for almost 10 years now. I own a company that works specifically in the food industry in Paraguay, selling fruit and vegetables, and we work with international clients as Nestle, UNICEF, or Arcor. And last year, after my master's degree in Melbourne and getting my credential in the MIT, I published a paper quantifying food waste in 6 retail supermarkets in Paraguay that I think are going to be our first clients for the waste management system. And additionally, the first waste that is going to be processed in the plant is going to come from my own company in Paraguay. So what do I need? Due to the high cost of the investments for machinery, I need a pre-seed investment and strategic alliances to put the products in the European market where they are now commercialized. So the idea is to start with a pilot and then scale it up in a more industrial stage with a partner that I already met. Entoprotec is an Israeli-based company. So just the impact of the pilot, the idea is to process the 700 tons of food waste that I already quantified in my paper, and by doing that, taking out 700 Olympic pools of CO2 from the world. So the future depends on what we do today. I'm calling you to build together a more resilient and efficient food system towards a better future. Thank you.
I know that some of you, they don't speak English, so I just want to say a few words also in Spanish, because, I mean, in this case, these people, I was like last week listening to all the GCL, and I was impressed because some of them, they were not doing the pitch in English. They was like just scared just in Spanish. And for them, it was like, oh my God, I don't speak well, I mean, I prefer to do it in Spanish. So this is not only what they do, it's only just the presentation and all the language. It takes a lot of courage. So congratulations for all of this. So quiero decir unas palabras en español. La semana pasada tuve el honor de estar con estos estudiantes escuchándoles su speech, y algunos estaban miedosos porque no hablaban en inglés bien o no se sentían bien, y al mismo tiempo quieren hacer negocios globales, internacionales, y se dan cuenta que tienen que aprender el inglés, mejorar el inglés, si quieren pues, think big y hacerlo grande. Entonces, quiero felicitar, porque el hecho de hacer algo en tu idioma no es fácil. El hecho de presentar en tu idioma no es fácil. El hecho de ir a otro país que no es el tuyo no es fácil. Pero el hecho de encima ir a otro país y encima crear un negocio en otro idioma que no es el tuyo, eso demuestra todo lo que son las cualidades que hacen a un emprendedor, ese courage y ese decir, mira, en lugar de decir no, no puedo, decir sí puedo, voy a preparármelo. Y hoy he visto varias personas y he escuchado que hace tiempo pues igual decían no, no puedo, lo preparan, lo practican y lo hacen. Yo creo que de eso se trata el día de hoy, para aquellas personas que no entendéis muy bien inglés todavía, pero que sí queréis trabajar en el ámbito internacional. Es muy importante que veáis el ejemplo que acabáis de ver de superación, de compromiso, de emprendimiento, porque estos chicos que han recibido becas para estudiar en esta universidad no están aquí porque son ricos o porque son los más listos del mundo, es porque han tenido una oportunidad. Y esa oportunidad, no, es así, al final el trabajo, a veces el trabajo constante de una persona hace, no solo por ser listo uno llega, no quiero decir que nadie es tonto, pero no es suficiente, no es suficiente. Entonces, con esto quiero decir, y con esto vamos al break, que aprovechéis la excelente oportunidad de las personas que están en este auditorio, que muchas hablan español, otras no, para llevaros y con una mente que os caracteriza optimista, constructiva y sacar de toda experiencia algo en positivo. Así que muchísimas gracias y por favor aprovechen en el break. Thank you so much. Thank you.